In my opinion as an independent artist, singles are going to be the way to go. In today's episode, I'm going to break down for you the pros and cons of releasing an album or singles. They both have their benefits, but as an independent artist, I'm definitely going to recommend releasing singles first to kind of build up that momentum and buzz. So we'll get right into it. With albums, the pros are you're going to be able to kind of create your brand around that project, and you can separate yourself each project. So look at a guy like Kanye West. Through each album, he's had a different vibe, and he's been able to brand himself in a different way. Look at Yeezus compared to a late registration. Yes, he's growing and he's maturing with his age, but the difference is he has a completely different style. He has the pink polo in the beginning, and he made Ralph Lauren kind of hot. It turned into Yeezus, and he turned into his own brand, and he marketed himself, and throughout every single album in between, he really was able to brand himself. 808s and Heartbreak, he had the stutter shades, so every album he's had his own identity. That is an advantage of releasing an album, is you can create your brand and your identity around that project. It's also going to allow you to put out songs that you might necessarily not want to put out as a single, because they fit more of a project feel, and they're not as strong as a single, but tying together on the rest of the album, it works very nicely, or it helps the cohesiveness and the flow. So that can be an advantage, because you can use some of your weaker songs or some songs that maybe won't do well as a single and put them onto an album. Now the issue with an album is it's hard to get people that don't know you to listen fully through an album, especially if it's like 15 songs. It's going to be difficult. Think of it for yourself. If you see a new artist, are you going to voluntarily want to listen through a whole entire album? You're going to probably listen to one or two, maybe at most, and if you really like it, you'll go through the whole thing, but primarily you're not going to listen through the whole entire project. If you do want to put out an album, I would strongly suggest that your first handful are your best ones, and you end strong as well, so that people have high hopes for the rest of the album if they're listening. Another con is the fact that you only get to post this one time. You know, you can post obviously more than once, and there's going to be majority of posts, but this is for a brief moment in time. This is for maybe a month at most if you could stretch this out. Realistically, you're not going to get as much. Whereas if you choose to do singles, now every single week you're going to have content, and you can build content around that. So I have changed my plan. I'm not doing the YouTube mixtape anymore. What I plan to do with singles, I have planned out my singles from September, the first Friday of September, through the end of 2020. This is going to allow me to then create an Instagram schedule and create a posting schedule. So once that starts on Fridays, I'm going to be dropping the new song on this YouTube channel and also on all streaming platforms. That's going to help my momentum. On top of that, I'm going to be able to post videos and other content around each song every single week and run ads on those, so I can start to figure out what songs are actually popular and who I'm going to be marketing to. These are things that are going to be essential, so I'm very excited to start this process. Another advantage of singles is you're only asking people to listen to one song. People are much more likely to listen to that one song than they would be a full album. It's just common sense. You're only taking up 3 minutes of their time compared to an hour, hour and a half. Even 30 minutes is way longer and way more of an investment of their time, whereas if you just send one song over, people will be like, okay, I'll give it a listen. And if they like it, they will go to the rest of your music and check out more things, or at least come back again a second time, and that's what you want. You want fans, you want people that are going to come back time and time again. Now when it comes to posting frequently, I feel like it's going to be easier to see growth if I can consistently build the momentum. That's another reason why singles are going to be beneficial, because each week I'm going to see this is what works, this is what doesn't work, and I'm going to be able to really grow and harness the information and all the things about my fan base that I can then use to help myself grow at a more exponential rate. Whereas right now, if I just post one album, it's going to be really hard to grasp and understand who likes what, why they like what, because it's biased. If they're starting at the top of the album, they might not even get to the best song if the best song is in the middle. So that's really just not fair for yourself to put yourself in that kind of a situation. So I would say singles all the way. Now there are cons of doing singles, because it is easy to break your momentum or lose your momentum. I would highly suggest having a stockpile of songs ready. I have 17 right now, and I have a handful on standby just so that I have other songs. That is my recommendation. I've done it before where I was making a song every single week, and I'm going to tell you straight up, when you're a perfectionist like I am, it is very difficult to do so if you don't have that many songs in the stockpile, because you start getting hard on yourself, you start overthinking the process, and it becomes rather unenjoyable, and the people can tell, and you will lose momentum. And that happened to me when I did it. I did it for about 6 months, and it did not help. It started to hurt. In the beginning, I was doing great, and then by the end, the streams were just down immensely because people weren't into it, because I I wasn't into it and I was really just forcing it. So at the end of the day, I would say the importance is keeping quality and keeping good music. You can not just be putting out any song, you need quality music. If you want people to keep coming back, you need to take your time. That's why most of these songs I've had for months now that I've worked on, that I've polished, and now I'm ready to set up this release schedule. I've done all my artwork and I'm uploading these songs over a month in advance onto Spotify and uploading multiple. This is going to help in the algorithm of Spotify because I have multiple releases coming out. That's another advantage. You're going to get put on playlists more easily if you have other songs in your queue, other songs that are going to be released. Spotify takes these things into account. So having a constant release schedule and having all these things planned out to the end of the year, I'm hoping I see a spike in my Instagram and Spotify numbers. These are my two main goals to the end of the year. YouTube is another goal, but Spotify is a thing that I really want to focus on. I want to get 500 followers, so if you have not followed my page yet, please go subscribe to that. I want to focus on my growth on Spotify. I feel like that is an essential thing. Streams and plays. It's going to be a way that I can at least make money for the time being. While we're in this weird no-show area of quarantine, it is kind of difficult to get some money, get some revenue coming in. So if I can consistently build this on Spotify, it should help me get some money, get some streams going, get my fan base up. So when it does open back up, I can start understanding where my target audiences are and where I can throw shows. So in my opinion, that's why you should be releasing singles instead of albums. Granted, if you want to release an album, go ahead, release an album. I know the urge. I know that if you have these songs compiled together and you have a vision and you want to complete it, just do it. Maybe it works for you. These are the things that I think are going to work for me, but I don't know until time tells. I'm going off a formula from Russ. I'm doing basically what he said because it seems successful, and now I'm at a place where I tried it years ago, but I feel like my music is actually there now. So I am going to do this and I am going to be consistent with it because that is going to make a difference. That is the only way that you're really going to grow, is if you're consistent with the singles. If you're going to be half-hearted with it, it's not going to work. So you need to be on top of your game. I know it can get expensive making these singles, buying the beats, graphic designing, and mixing and mastering the songs. These things are going to be expensive, but that's why I want to teach you to be a self-sufficient artist so you can figure out these things on your own. I'm doing everything myself minus the beats, so the only thing I'm paying for is beats, and luckily a lot of producers are very good with their deals, and you can find people online that you can just pay $50 and you can get unlimited beats, and that's a deal that I'm going to take 10 times out of 10 because that's well worth it for a person that wants to release music consistently. To pay $50 a month to just have that. I'll do that any day of the week, and that's where we're at with it. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every Monday and Friday to help you become a self-sufficient independent artist. And if you have any opinion, whether you think singles or albums are the best work, please drop a comment. I want to know what your opinion is on this situation so I can figure out what's the best route for other people or for myself. But for now, if you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram at Franchise the Rapper, and make sure to stay healthy, keep working hard, and get those bars up, because this is how to be a rapper.